Guys, welcome to Hoops Junction. Finally, Eastern Conference Finals, we got to see back-to-back good games. Cleveland Cavaliers take game 4. They win 112-99, taking a 3-1 lead on the Boston Celtics. I want to start with the winning team. Kevin Love had a great game. He had 17 points, 17 rebounds. So those 17 rebounds were very, very, very key. And Kyrie Irving, of course, he gets the game ball, 42 points. He had 21 in the third quarter, and he went 4 for 7 from 3. He went 8 for 9 from the free throw line. He was instrumental in getting the Cavs back. The Cavs were down as many as 16 points, and Kyrie Irving seemed like the only guy that had that sense of urgency to get them to win the game and get back in the game. It was incredible. He was making all kind of floaters, lefty shots, fouling ones, draining threes in people's eye. Like I was mesmerized by all the wizardry with the basketball. It was incredible. All of his intangibles with the ball, that's what kept Cleveland in the game. Because if he doesn't go off in that third quarter for that 21, I think they lose this game. And I think they lose maybe going away. I think they lose by 7 or 8 or even 10 because LeBron James, he had 4 personal fouls in the first half. He only had 10 points. I think it was 4 for 11 in the first half. And down the stretch, LeBron hit some good shots and got to the basket and made some great plays. But it was when the pressure was off. They had a 9, 10-point lead, 8-point lead, 10-point lead. He was basically playing with house money because he knew that they still had the lead, and the way that they play basketball, they wind the clock down so they could get a good shot or get isolation basketball. So Kyrie Irving really did most of the work, the heavy lifting to get the team back in the game and to really take a nice command and lead. You can't say enough about Kyrie Irving. Like Game 7 NBA Finals, he shows no fear, all heart, hits a dagger shot. You know, because when LeBron got everybody keeps mentioning the block, but when LeBron got the block, the score was basically still tied. So even if they get the layup, if Kyrie doesn't hit that 3-point shot for them to go ahead by 3, it doesn't cause the Warriors to press, and the Cavs have to press because the Warriors have a 2-point lead. So you gotta give kudos to Kyrie again and again and again. LeBron finished with 34, but like I said before, his 34. You could look at it in 2 different ways. You could look at it like, okay, he's the man, he's this, that, and the third. You know, like the media is really going hard for him to give him the GOAT title, which makes, sense for today's generation. But if you watch the game in its entirety, LeBron wasn't as aggressive as he was supposed to be, especially in a game like this where they possibly could have lost down 16. If they let that lead balloon to 20, then I think, despite Kyrie Irving's efforts, I think it would have been it's almost insurmountable lead going into the half. So I think LeBron, I don't know if he fell in love with the jump shot because sometimes players do that, but he had 4 fouls, and I understand that you can't be as aggressive, but there's other way that LeBron is aggressive that he wasn't really displaying tonight. So down the stretch he played a phenomenal game, but I gotta go back to Kyrie Irving. If Kyrie Irving doesn't do what he does, if Kyrie Irving Game 7 last year doesn't hit that 3-point dagger, we're talking a whole lot of different stuff about LeBron James here. And it's not to take away anything from what he did. It's just, you're looking at him during the game. It was just like, whoa, well, he went 1 for 6 from 3. So it's just like he started falling in love with the jump shot over and over and over. Even when he was getting to the basket, he was crying to the referees like I'm not getting the call. And tonight, nobody was getting any calls. So Cavs, they hit 10 3-pointers, but the Celtics hit 10 3-pointers. So that was basically a wash. Cavs, though, down the stretch, they got a lot of the buckets that they wanted. They shot 59% for the entire game. And for the first time, I watched a game where the Cavs went to the free throw line less. So I guess LeBron James had some kind of he had some validity to his qualms about getting to the line. Cavs had 37 rebounds, which essentially helped seal the game because there were a lot of offensive rebounds as opposed to Celtics 29 rebounds. So somebody saying it was only 8 rebound difference. Well, that means Celtics don't get second chance. All the second chances that the Celtics were getting in the first half, they did not get it anymore, and the Cleveland Cavaliers were getting in the rebounds, especially on their run on that comeback. Kevin Love had a rebound on a missed free throw, and he put it back in. So there was a lot of mistakes made by the Celtics in that regard. But Cavs, hats off to them. I predicted that they'd win in 5 games because I have respect for Isaiah Thomas, but the Celtics actually were able to pull out one without Isaiah Thomas, and also almost able to pull it out tonight. Now we'll go to the losing side. Brad Stevens and company. Everybody had basically a solid game. Jerebko had 9, Bradley had 19, Smart had 8. Smart was struggling. He went 1 for 9. Olynyk had 15. Horford had 16. Jay Crowder had 18. So it was a balanced game besides Marcus Smart. And Jaylen Brown had like 9. But Gerald Green didn't score anything. Tyler Zeller didn't score. Rozier had about 5. So it was a basic all-around game. I think where Brad Stevens went wrong, when they had the big lead, they had the 16-point lead, and Kyrie Irving started going off, they did not defend him like they were defending LeBron James. They kind of let him go one-on-one. Like they're thinking that we have great one-on-one defenders, so they could shut him down. When you have a great player, you can't shut him down. So you have to make him see multiple bodies. You have to make him see different defensive looks. And what occurred was Kyrie Irving started getting hot, and all that playing him one-on-one, it's not going to work. He's one of the best one-on-one players in the NBA. And that's what I understand about Brad Stevens sometimes. Sometimes he has like a game plan. I'm going to make you see a lot of bodies. We're going to double, sometimes not double. Then he goes away from it. Like game 3, they doubled. They did what they had to do here and there. They had different defensive looks. And then the next game, or when they have a lead, they just kind of go away from the same principles that got them the lead. And, he's a great coach. This is his first time in the Eastern Conference Finals. I'm pretty sure he could look at the tape and point out a lot of things that his players didn't do right. But I could look at the tape and look at a lot of things that Brad Stevens ultimately did not do properly. When the Cavs started going on a run, he didn't call any timeouts really. He was just kind of like lackadaisical in terms of managing the game, in my opinion. I know you were up big, but even closing out the half, closed it out with a 10-point lead. They could have closed it out with a 13, 15-point lead. And it was just like when Cavs started going on a run, he never really called the timeout. And I found that kind of odd. But they have the formula to actually be competitive. And that's what I liked about this game. This game was very competitive. You saw a lot of physical gameplay. A lot of guys almost got injured. Kevin Love almost got hurt. Jared Crowder almost got slipped on a wet spot. Kyrie Irving twisted his ankle really bad. So it was very, 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 very physical. And that's kind of the reason why teams like the Cavs and the Warriors want to sweep through and get to the NBA Finals as soon as possible, because, any wrong move and you could get injured. And especially with the way that the Celtics are playing, very physical, that lends its way to injury. And who has a lot more to lose in terms of injury? I mean, Celtics already don't have their star point guard, so the Cavs do. So if, let's just say Kyrie Irving went down, that would have been horrible for the Cavs, because, they'll just be thinking, well, this would have been our closeout game if we would have just won the game before. So it was a very physical game. And Brad Stevens, this is my issue here. When the team had the lead and everything was going well, they were running their plays, running their sets. Then in the third quarter and the fourth quarter, they stopped really playing that motion offense, and they stopped moving the ball like how they were supposed to. They got close down in the fourth, like I think it was 5 minutes left. They got it down to 6 or so. But after a while, they just started kind of going one-on-one, jacking up shots, giving the ball to Al Horford with the clock winding down. I think they were basically fatigued, but that's up to Brad Stevens to notice that. He probably should have played Rozier a little bit more minutes, but I think that they went away from the game plan. Even regarding Kyrie, by the time they started trying to let him see bodies, I mean, Kyrie was hitting threes from 33 feet or whatever the case is, 29 feet, 30 feet. So that was a little too late. I think they have to understand, they have to treat Kyrie and LeBron like the same. When Kyrie's in the game and LeBron's not in the game, you have to make him see bodies. You can't just let him drive all the way to the basket. Same thing with LeBron. You have to make LeBron see bodies, and you have to make him a passer. You have to make him try to get 20 to 25 assists, because if you notice tonight, when LeBron wasn't the main guy scoring, Cavaliers struggled, as opposed to the other way around. Whenever LeBron is scoring, he's getting to the basket, doing what he wants. He gives the rest of his team energy. It's kind of weird. Like, you would think a guy passing the ball more would give the team a whole lot more energy, but this year dynamic, the way LeBron's been going off, they rely on him to be their primary scorer, primary ball handler, primary playmaker. So you got to take something away, and that's just scoring. You got to make somebody else get 30, 40, and that's what happened tonight. Kyrie Irving got 40, but they didn't respect Kyrie when he was doing everything he was doing. When Kyrie goes off for 21, you have to trap him. In the third quarter, 21 in the third quarter, you have to trap him. You have to make him give up the ball, and you got to make somebody else beat you. You got to make Darren Williams beat you. You got to make Shimon Shumpert beat you sometimes. That's just the name of the game. When a guy is hot, you got to get the ball out of his hands, and I don't think Brad Stevens understood that. I think Cavs are going to go up to Boston. So I predicted it in 5 games, so they're going to most likely close them out. Celtics might have a last-ditch effort. You never know. I think they're going to look at this tape and say, hey, guys, we have something here. We just have to stick to the game plan and don't panic. Let's stop trying to play hero ball, one-on-one basketball. That doesn't work against the Cavs team. We don't have the personnel to do that. Like, watching that game, the Celtics, they were hungry. They played a good game, but they should have went for more than they. I think they were in over their head. I don't think they believed in themselves enough to close out the game. I know the Cavs have all the belief in the world. They're like, we can still do this. Kyrie Irving was clapping his hand. Even when they were down 13, 16, they were going at it. But for some reason with the Celtics, the closer the game got, the score got, all that belief went down. All the shots started going down. And it was just kind of weird. And I felt like that was something that Brad Stevens should have brought in the ring and said, hey, guys, settle down. We have the lead. Let's keep playing our game. Let's not stop. Let's attack the basket. Let's attack the ball, Well, one of the key mistakes I felt like he made was they were trying the third quarter was they were trying to attack LeBron James when he had his 4th foul, and nobody could finish over LeBron. And LeBron just played solid defense. You notice he finished with the game with 4 fouls only. So I think that was kind of weird trying to attack him only, but whatever. And I know the number one thing tomorrow or SportsCenter or whatever the case is LeBron tired because he sprited that dunk. I don't think he's tired. I just think the dude just cuffed it too tight and he sprited the dunk with. Sometimes when you want something so bad, that's what happens. So that is what it is. It's good to actually get good basketball. I don't like watching 50-point blowouts. Both teams were competitive. I felt like the game could have gone either way, and that's just what we want to see in the playoffs. We don't want to see all these blowouts or whatever the case may have you. But this does leave Cleveland with something to think about. If the last couple of games, they have been struggling with the Celtics, their next opponent, assuming that they win on Thursday, it's the Golden State Warriors. The Golden State Warriors are better defensively than the Celtics, and they're better offensively. So this is going to be an issue for them in terms of offense and defense, because offensively they're very isolation heavy, and defensively they do have holes. Because I assume this, and this is just my opinion, I think the Golden State Warriors, if you ever put Kevin Love on the floor, if LeBron has to guard Kevin Durant, they're going to pick and roll with LeBron's man, and they're going to put Kevin Love on Durant, and Durant is just going to go start cooking them. Or Tristan Thompson start cooking them. I think that's what the Celtics exploited, especially with those pick and rolls, multiple pick and rolls. They exploited that. And I think the Golden State can exploit that even better, especially like if you watch the Celtics game, Celtics got a lot of corner three-point shots. And Golden State Warriors are, if you give them a lot of three-point corner shots, that's a recipe for disaster. That's ridiculous. So they have some things to shore up, but I think they're going to most likely close out the game. I hope we get another close game. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't even mind if the Celtics were able to extend it to 6, but I know they're not going to be able to, because just after watching the way that they kind of collapsed under pressure, I feel like they're like, okay, we're back down to the mean. We're not going to. We can't beat this team. I think they're finally realizing, okay, we just don't have enough firepower. So, and the Cavs are realizing time is ticking. We gotta rest up. We gotta get our guys healthy, because we have a rested Golden State waiting ahead of us. So, this is Vlad from Hoops Junction with Hoops Meets Hoopla. Peace.